In this video, we're going to focus on how to create pie slices that are basically links as well. So if I click on this, you can see now what happens is I jump immediately to Google. If I click on this one, I will go to the Chartjs org, and you can see it will open always in a new tab. So that is very nice, so it will not overrule our design here. So let's start to explore how we can create these clickable pie slices. In this video, we will answer one of the viewers' questions, which is how to create clickable pie donut chart with links in Chart.js. So this question came from one of the viewers of one of my other videos about creating a clickable bar chart with links in Chart.js. And if you scroll down, you will see that this question came specifically here from hashtag Roseanne Putri Gayati. So a special thank you to Roseanne for asking this question, and this is basically what Roseanne asked. Hi, does this not work for pie and donut charts? Well, this one here was specifically geared toward the bar chart, but it will also be possible for other type of charts. For the donut chart, we have a slight adjustment because we're working here with data structures, and data structures would mean we need to have something uniquely for our pie chart. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on that and we're going to apply this as well. So what we're going to do here, first of all, is to get our default code. Make sure you go to chartjs3.com, getting started, to this link, to get our default code. For some reason, I get this error here. Ignore that one. On Firefox, it works fine. Anyway, let's copy this chunk of code here. And if you want to watch or understand what this code does, watch this video that will explain the JavaScript of it. I'm going to paste this in here. And once I paste that in here, I want to cut out this part and put it in here, at least for me, so I know the title of the video. Save this, refresh, there we are. So now we have a nice bar chart. But of course, what I want is here a pie or a donut chart. So what I'm going to do here, first of all, I'm going to adjust the width to 500 because it will be a square shape, and you will see that there will be adjustments on this. And then next, what I'm going to do here, this will be a, let's say, a pie chart. So if I save this right now and refresh, it works nicely, but we have still these y-axis grid lines, so we're going to remove those as well. That's our in the scales because we don't have any scales in the pie chart and donut chart. Save this, refresh, and there we are. So now we have our nice pie chart and donut chart. What I want to do now is basically build a clickable structure on this. And what we also need to do is here convert this into the right data structure. So what I'm going to do here first, I'm going to work on the data structure, and this is data structure specifically for the pie and donut chart. And this is different because they work and respond differently. So in here, what I'm going to do is, and that will be more interesting, of course, is to put in here first a value. So the first value would be the most descriptive one, although this doesn't matter so much because eventually the labels will be grabbed from here. For some reason, pie chart and donut chart has a tiny issue with that it doesn't recognize the labels here. So we cannot assign the labels here. We need to put it in here. So let's put it in here first. We put a label here, but that label must be put in here as well. So what we're going to say here, let's say here department, or let's say products. Then here we can say the products, or maybe here we can say the amount, or maybe financials, I guess financials. Then we can say here, this will be the sales. And in here, in the financials, I guess we can make this a small character, that's fine. We have another one, which would be the URL. This is eventually the link I want to link to. And this could be https://www.google.com. Very straightforward. And then we have another item, would be the amount of the finances, of the sales. So we say here, amount, and this amount, I'm going to put in here, again, a curly braces. And then in here, we have two types. We have the USD, which would be, well, let's say 900. And then we have the euro as another currency, which would say equal to 600. So we have this new structure here. So once we're done here, we're going to put a comma here, and then we're going to copy this, and we're going to just make 3 items. Here, the financials, and this will be not the sales, this will be the cost. And this one will be the profit. And this here you can say Chartjs, chartjs3.com. This one will be chartjs.org. So once I have this here, I'll make sure that we have this one here. It will be 1200 and this will be 900 euro and this will be equal to 1500 USD and this one will be at 1200. So once we have this, and if we save this now and refresh, you can see nothing happens. And of course we have here is a counteracting issue. So what we're going to do is the following. We have to now recognize and make sure that this recognizes in here. So for data structures, we're going to use parsing, and parsing basically means make something readable for. So we say parsing, so make this object here, or specifically now our amount, and we want to grab here the USD amount, readable for our pie chart here. So we say here, parsing, and then how do we get here to specify specifically this item here? We're going to put in the curly braces, and then we say here, key. This is essential here. With the key, we can now put in the object reference, so which is this, basically the amount, and then we can select here USD or euro. So we're going to say here amount dot USD. Oh, what happened here? Sorry, I'm not seeing what happened. Let's undo this. Sorry, and then we say here amount. Apparently I copied too much. USD. So we do this, and then we'll copy this one. If I do this now and refresh, you can see here now we get 900, we get 1200, and we get 1500. So of course you can see still the labels are not matching, so we have to do that one. If you would do this, you will see that it just doesn't show the labels here at all. There you are, it just shows blank. And here it doesn't work as well. So this is the only one here, which is still probably in development, because this data structures was suitable for everything else except for the pie and donut chart. And then they launched it in 3.6, but sadly enough, it's not fully working. Anyway, doesn't matter. So we have sales, cost, and profit. And most likely because there's no scales in here. So there's no axis, y-axis and x-axis. So it's a completely different structure. And most likely that is creating an issue for the developers. But once we do this, you can see here now it works, of course, because we just have put it, we just replace it in the labels here. Alright, so now we have this working. So we want to have now the following. Our most important point here that we need to figure out is how can we, if we go on the canvas here and we click on this slice, how can Chartjs recognize, or JavaScript recognize wherever we click and which slice we are basically clicking on. And if we click on the outside here, it should recognize that we didn't click on a slice at all. So let's start to work on that. To do this, to make it clickable item, or at least to recognize the click, we need to do here a adjustment. We're going to say here constant ctx equals, and then we have this. We're going to cut this out. We say here ctx, and this will be here. This is very important, or else it cannot recognize our click, because basically this here will load the entire canvas, including every command here. But I don't want this. If I click on it, I only want to say if I click on where, on ctx, which ctx this basically means context, but reference is to the my chart canvas. So if you click on the canvas with the ID of my chart, recognize that click, and then also give me the coordinates of that click. That's basically what we need here. So what we're going to do now is the following. Well, we can do here ctx.onClick equals pie link. Link, okay, make sure you correct that, type it correctly. So when I do that, I need to, of course, make here now a function called the pie link. Because basically what we say here, if we click on ctx, which is this, trigger this function here. So once we do this, I'm going to here put in this, and then we can do here console log, and we can just say clicked. So if I save this here, refresh, and if I open up my developer tab, you can see now, if I click here, it recognizes we click somewhere. It doesn't recognize where exactly we click, but it does recognize that if we click here outside of the canvas, it doesn't work, but inside the canvas, even here, it recognizes it. So this is very important. But of course, recognizing the click is one thing. Recognizing which exact location we clicked on which slice is another. So that's what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do now is, in here, we're going to say here, the pie link will have here a parameter, and this parameter is called click. And what we're going to do here, what we could do here is the following. We can even say here this click, and let's see if it will work as well. we're going to get here this parameter, and then if we save this with another item, now you can see here, we're now able to figure out where exactly we're clicking, or at least the coordinates of wherever we click on. And this is just only the coordinates, still nothing, but it starts to show us more and more information that we need. Alright, enough about this. Let's go with the real part. So then what we want to do here is eventually we can say here the constant, and this constant will be the clicked, let's say the clicked slice, I guess, or info. Let's say the clicked info, because we want to get here, oh, not with parentheses, equals. So we want to grab here the info, and then eventually we want to do something very specific. So what we're going to do here is to say my chart dot. Then we say here get element with an S, sorry, get elements, add, pay attention to the capital A for alpha, and then capital E for events, or for echo. And then we say here for mode. And here what we're going to do here, basically this is a command that will grab wherever we click on and convert that into, or convert this event into a certain mode. This mode would refer to eventually if we are on a slice, yes or no. This is very, very useful. This is a default command in Chartjs. So we say here click, which is the reference of this here. And then we say here comma, then we say here nearest, meaning we want to grab, when we click on here, we want to grab the nearest value. But this nearest value will be triggered on intersect. And intersect, we have to put in here as true. What is intersect? So if you're familiar with a crossroad, we should call it intersection. Meaning that we're crossing the road, or we cross or intersect. We have intersect where two roads meet together. A crossing point. When you are on the mouse and you are here, you're intersecting basically on this slice. This is also how the tooltip is being triggered. Once you have this intersect, the moment you hit here, it shows the tooltip. And this is the same thing here. But now our item is not based on hover, but on click. So if we click within this slice, we intersect. And without the slice, or everything outside of the slice, we are not intersecting yet. We're we're still on the road, but not yet on a crossroad. That's basically what we're doing here. So if this is true, and then we can say again true, in that case, then do something, or grab a certain value. And what we really want here in this case is the following. So we say if, or we can even do a console log for this. You can see what we will grab. So I'm going to put in this. What I'm going to do here, put this out. So if I save this, refresh, we do nothing here, but if we click, we get the info. As you can see here, we grab all the info, including the data index and the data index, or the data set index, elements, all this information here. If I click here, you can see now it's empty. There's nothing at all here, because we didn't intersect yet. We intersect only here. And you can see, and if we're outside, it's empty, blank array. Here, we have an array with length of 1, meaning that we have found a slice. That's the exact slice we selected on. So now, we have converted a click on canvas to a converted click on where exactly we click on in the canvas, and understand that this here where we click on would be a slice, yes or no. Very, very important knowledge here. So, what we're going to do now is the following. We're going to say this. We can say here constant, and then we say this constant will be eventually, well, we can say here pi slice, because we basically click on a specific pi slice, which will be on the click info if click info equals 0. Oh, wait, before I even do this, we need to make an if statement to make sure that we only show this when we click within. This is very important. So we're going to say here if the click info has any length. In that case, we want to show, because right now we are always showing no matter what. So that is fine, but I don't want this because it will be confusing. And then we can say here now the following. We're going to say here constant pi slice equals the clicked info length of 0. Means the first element in the array, because we call this the first element is element or index 0. That's why. So if I save this now, you can see here now, if I click outside, oh, it still recognizes. Alright. So we have this console log here. Wait, I'm going to remove this console log. And now I do here a console log. And let's do here again the click info. If I click here, save this, refresh. You can see here, now if I click on it, it doesn't work. But if I click here inside, it does work. And this is what I want. So if I click here on the right slice, it should be triggered. Else, we don't trigger it because we need to grab the link. So what we're going to do next is the following here. So now we have the most important part. So we have this pie slice here eventually that will grab us all the info we need. So we can see here the pie slice. Refresh, click, grabs everything, and then it also shows us the data index and the elements, and of course here the index value. So index value, or the data set index 0, which is correct because we only have one data set here. But index 0 would mean this slice. This is index 1, as you can see here, index 1, and then we have here index number 2 for the yellow one, which is correct because we have only 3 items, 0, 1, 2. Beautiful. So then what we want to do here is basically this. We want to grab here more specifically the index itself. So if I grab here this and select this, you can see here which index we need. Why we need this? Well, this value will become very important because now what we want is we want to grab here the specific link data. To get this, we must know in which data set, or we are in data set 0, we already know that, but also we need to know in which data index are we, 0, 1, or 2. So this will be now the item that we need to understand. So what we're going to do here, put an enter, and then we go here, and we say my chart. And then we say here dot. And how do we get here? What we want to do here basically is to get the specific data here. If we do my chart.data, well, let's see what we get here. Let's put a console log. And then if we go in here, are we going immediately in there? If we save this, refresh, click on that, and you can see here, once we do here my chart.data, we are instantly jumping from the my chart directly into the data here, and this data here gives us all of this information. And you can see here, we have the labels, etc., etc. We get everything here, but what I really want is only one item, is the data itself. That will be this one here. Go in data sets, which is index 0, and then here the data itself, whatever we selected on. So remember, this is for the index, but you also have the data set index. So we're going to do the following. We're going to say here, now we have here the dot data sets, and we need to grab here the specific index here, or the data set index. To get this, basically we have this one here, and we also have here this one, data set index. So let me show you this one as well. And this one I'll just put on 0 here. If I save this, if you click on this, you get now 0, 0, which is correct. Now we have 0, 1. Because this is data set 0, and then index 1, 2, whatever it would be. So this here, we grab this pie slice, we say this is in data set 0. Then we say here dot data. Then we do exactly the same. You're going to copy this, put it in here. And once we put it in here, we have all of this. Let's save that now and refresh. Now we select here. Now we get all the items we want, but within the right match. This is the cost, 1200, and then you can see here. And now what I want to grab is, of course, the URL. So how do we get this? Well, basically we go here, we have this, and then we want to grab the URL. We just select here the URL. And we say here dot URL. If I save this now, refresh, select, there we are. Now we have all of these links. Beautiful. Let's grab these links now and start showing all of this information. So we're going to grab this here. What we're going to do is the following. We can make this maybe our link value. Let's make this constant. Link equals that. And then what we're going to do here is the following. You can say here location.href equals link. And once we do this, you can save that. If I refresh now, if I click on this one, well, let's click on this. What happened? It's starting to load. All right. it starts to load, and there you are. We are jumping here, and of course it does do something. I don't know what exactly. Probably it has some violation of the script. Fair enough, doesn't matter so much. However, what I don't like is, I don't like that we need to, we are basically doing this on the same tab. What I want to do, I want to do it on a new item. How do we do this? We say window.open, then we say here equals link. If I do this now, comment out, save that, refresh. Now if I click here, this should go to Google. And, oh, sorry, shouldn't it be equal? That's why it doesn't work. It needs to be parentheses. This one is in parentheses, this one is equal. So save this again, refresh. If we click on this, now we jump here to Chartjs 3, I guess. And then, I don't know if it will show, maybe we'll give an error, same like on this one, like this. But anyway, let's click on this. Where are we going? Alright, so it loaded. This one loaded as well. Let's do it again. There you are, you can see it works. Do this again. We have Chartjs org. Click on this, let's see if it works. Alright, shows this, but it will work nicely. So this is basically the way how you can play around with this. So if you like these kind of videos and you want to go even more deeper, or you want to at least understand the data set specifically for the pie and donut chart, I have a specific video for that one that covers this one here, which is how to use data structures with donut and pie chart in Chartjs, because it's slightly different than using it for the bar chart and for the line chart and for the other charts that has a default structure.